Hi everyone, I'm Renee and welcome back to my channel. Today I have another keto recipe for you. It's fall and one of my all-time favorite fall treats are pumpkin scones. I think they're perfect with a cup of coffee in the afternoon. So I went about developing a low-carb, sugar-free version that fits with the keto lifestyle. If you want to see how I make these keto pumpkin scones, let's get started. Start by mixing the dry ingredients. Here I have 1 1/4 cups of super fine almond flour, 1/4 cup of coconut flour, and 1/4 cup of Lakanto Golden. This is a monk fruit erythritol blend, but you can use your favorite granular sugar alternative. 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Now this is really important for the texture of the recipe. It's a common gluten replacer in baked goods. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt, and 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. If you don't have pumpkin pie spice, you could just use a teaspoon of cinnamon. I just use a fork and whisk all of these dry ingredients together, and while I'm at it, I break up any big lumps that I see. Now to the dry ingredients, I'm adding 3 tablespoons of unsalted cold butter that I just cut into little cubes. With clean hands, toss the butter cubes in the dry mixture to make sure they're coated so that the butter doesn't stick to itself. Then I'm going to pick up each of those butter cubes and flatten them between my fingers. Then I'm going to just gently start working the butter into the almond flour mixture. You want to work the butter in but not fully incorporate it. You should still be able to see little flecks of butter. Set the dry ingredients aside for a moment and mix the remaining ingredients in a small bowl, which is 1 large egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of heavy cream, and 1/4 cup of canned pumpkin puree. It's important to make sure it's 100% pumpkin, not a pumpkin pie mix or filling. Then whisk these ingredients together until they're fully mixed. Add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients and then stir them together until everything is fully combined. Cover the dough with plastic wrap and pop this in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. This will allow time for the coconut flour and xanthan gum to fully hydrate and make the dough a lot easier to work with. I have my dough nice and chill, and I'm going to turn it out onto a piece of plastic wrap that I lined my countertop with, and use another sheet of plastic wrap on top. This dough is very sticky, and I find this is the best way to work with it. Roll the dough out until it's about 1/2 inch thick. Using a sharp knife or a pizza cutter, cut this disc into 6 wedges. Place each piece onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. Bake the scones in a preheated 325-degree oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. You're looking for them to become this beautiful golden color with slight browning around the edges. You're going to want to let these cool for at least 20 minutes. While the scones cool, we can make an easy cream cheese icing to drizzle over as an optional sweet touch. I have 2 ounces of softened cream cheese, and 2 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. Mix these 2 ingredients together until they're well combined. Then add 1/4 cup of powdered erythritol. This is the Swerve brand. 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then mix these ingredients together until they're fully combined. At this point, the icing is fairly thick, so to thin it so we can drizzle it, I'm using heavy cream, and I use 1 tablespoon at a time and just mix that in until I have the perfect consistency for drizzling over the scones. This took me 3 tablespoons of the heavy cream before I had the perfect consistency. The scones have cooled to room temperature, and now it's time to drizzle over that cinnamon cream cheese icing. This cream cheese icing recipe makes quite a bit more than you need for the 6 scones. I would estimate it makes enough for at least 18. I'm using just a tiny bit over each scone, as you can see here, so it adds really a negligible amount of net carbs. Just keep that in mind, that if you add more icing to your scones, that you may have to adjust the macros at the end. I will have all of the ingredients for both the icing and scone recipes listed in the description box below, along with metric measurements, and I'll also list out the macros for each recipe individually in case you need to calculate macros for yourself. And now for the macros. Each 1 scone contains 250 calories, 22 grams of fat, 6 grams of protein, and 4 grams of net carbs. I used an app called Carb Manager to calculate these macros, and these calculations are based on the brands and ingredients that I used today in this video. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos, and click the bell icon to turn on post notifications so you're notified every time I upload.